definitely improved as time went on. And probably the biggest player to look at here in terms of really stands out to me as someone who's OW already and for whatever reason just not signed yet is Smex, where Smex has usually been the big difference maker for NRG.
Smec's definitely been a very consistent part of their roster. I was actually, heading in, I was, not very sold on them. But Byram and Stand 1 as well. Great additions to this NRG team.
The Stand 1 definitely came into his own also, and I mean, you kind of have to work as a team as a tank front line, but now second gen running out, not on the 3-3, but they're running with the Widow Pharah, and the key here is that Shadows is going to have to get a pick sooner rather than later. Sox needs to build up this barrage extremely quickly too. They have to play slow. This is a very strong poke damage out. Here comes the engage for NRG trying to catch anyone. And all right, second generation, the DPS works out. They split off NRG, and with the boop from Felty, it's more than enough. 6-on-4 advantage, and guess what? 3-3 does not work out well once you're down players. No, it does not. NRG getting a little split there. Second gen doing too much damage, and second gen played that the right way, where they poke, got the resources out of NRG, and as soon as NRG looked for the engage, got split, that's when they got their frags. And even though Shadows didn't get any early pickoffs in the way that you'd want there, he still did plenty of damage. He's going to have Recon Sight up to make this next fight even easier. Now NRG moving from this flank, trying to mitigate some of the spam damage from Sox, also the sniper shots from Shadows, but very close to the barrage. Sox will be looking to get this set up. Recon Sight set up. Sox seeing everything he needs to see and more. Good intel to make this happen. A Diva in his face. Bipbop gonna get demeched early, so and now it's up to the DPS of second gen to really find a move. Sox moving forward, drops a barrage, finds Pooks, but Smex is right there.
Not very good value for that. Not very good value for that barrage. Felty is gonna boop off Kevster. Eclipse gets the res, and Bipbop gets the demech onto Smex, so it is still possible now while ChronoData is ulting for second gen to come back in. Well, for ChronoData, this is not bad. They're using Primal on the point. They're going to buy a lot of time, where even if NRG is able to turn this to their favor, which, by the way, is not likely as Bitbop picks up 2 coming back in off the respawn, even if they were able to grab this, it's a lot of time being bought. But second generation, they go, why delay when you can just win? A lot of time being bit-bought here for second generation on the point. And actually, I need to make a quick correction. I said Felty, it was Eclipse. Eclipse was the Team Austria member. Well, there you go. Player, not Felty. But was the team name accurate? The team name was accurate. All right. The team name was accurate. That's really the important part. It is. Truly. Second gen, though, in a really good spot here, taking NRG the task, about one good team fight away, making this DPS setup work. And NRG, they have Swap, they have Kevstar and the McCree. Now can they protect him? Right now, NRG moving from this white room. Once again, this far flank. Kevster's really going to be looking to deny Sox here. Make sure they can't get a barrage value. They're going to be used by both sides, pretty much equalizing Sox with the barrage on the outskirts. Not going to get a whole lot from it, but also doesn't fall while it's midway through. Shadows chased on down by Stand 1. Man advantage. Now to NRG. Kevster, room to work with. And that is very scary. And McCree with room to work with does a lot of damage. Kevster picks up 2. And this Protect McCree setup working real well for NRG. That's great setup there. Second generation, though, maybe a little bit of a misplay. They use Felty's beat to get in close. Sox to drop the barrage, getting that damage boost, but couldn't get much value out of there. Kevs are getting sped back to get the swap here. Just probably going to go to that traditional 3-3 now that second gen have swapped in turn. Very smart from NRG. However, look how far away Kevster and Pooks are. They can't really contest the point too heavily right now. They can back up and get back. And the boop comes out on a Kevster. Wraps all the way around. You go to all the effort, the swap, and then Felty finds you, reads the switch. That is so good for second generation. Stand 1, though, buys a little bit of time, just not nearly enough. Bip-Bop doing a lot of damage there towards the very end, and this is looking like second generation about to take the round unless NRG pulls out some real heroics. Oh, my goodness. Felty denies Pooks from getting through the window as well. Felty's boops were so key on that round right there for Zhejiang. He wraps around, sees the rotation from Kevster back from spawn, gets the boops down to Kevster, and then denies Pooks from touching the point. So Felty looking really good. This has been very solid play from second generation now, where again, this is a freshly made team. This is not, obviously they are still from the first generation lineage, but obviously you look at the team, parts have very significantly changed, to put it mildly. And not even the same staff really either, because Made is on Glad Legion now as a coach. Well, Made was with Second Wind. Oh, Second Wind, yeah, not first gen. What am I saying? Well, I think the second and first. The second and first Wind have intermixed. Yeah, yes, sometimes my brain gets a little mixed up there. The first and second. It's been a long day, cast. So Made is definitely not with second generation, even if not even originally. But now both teams rolling out here to this first mid. just watching the bubbles.
NRG looking for this early on. Stand one under a bit of pressure. Heavy pressure, in fact. Second generation just diving on Din. Pooks tried to save it with disruption, ends up getting caught in turn. And no, ChronoDota gives up his life for that. This could still be a decent trade for NRG. They're going to be slow boys as they come on over, but they still got a big hammer.
Very slow boys, but as long as they can get to the point, they should win the trade eventually. They do have a little bit less sustain, less of that speed without the Lucio. Right now, neither team very healthy.
All going to be coming up here, both sides. Bip-Bop, though, demeched, and NRG.
Stand one.
Better setup as Stand one cleans house.
Stand one getting 4 there. Just cleaning up.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a hammer, it was a broom.
Stand one having the shadow. Now there's going to be 4 ults up for NRG. Second gen a little bit behind in that ult economy, especially with Sox trading that rally with Pugs. So now NRG control point. They have their combo. Second gen not quite to theirs, so might have to tank a fight here for second generation.
NRG's in a very, very good spot right now. But that said, grab used immediately from Kevster. Smex gonna wait, drop his self-destruct over. What fall through is there? Big 3 off Smex's self-destruct. Well set up by the grab, and Smex one of the very best in timing those out.
And tragically, that bomb might not have been as effective if there hadn't been a boop coming on to stand one. He did it very close to the statue, so he was going to be able to pin back ChronoData. He might have been up to have that barrier in time, but they booped stand one from second generation, and so it actually lengthened the charge, allowing the bomb to be more effective.
Second gen backs against the wall right now. 45% uncontested to NRG. Stand one. Could be waiting a little bit back here. Earth Shatter. Very much ready. Moving forward. Shield under heavy pressure now. 400 HP. Specs a little Frank's ChronoDota. And right off that, the door was open for stand one. Didn't have to worry about the shield. Drops a hammer. And that's absolutely what NRG needed.
NRG just putting a lot of focus fire on the main tank, trying to break the shield, get him out of the equation, and set up stand one. We've seen that strategy a lot. I mean, it's a pretty common strategy, but especially in Korean contenders, you see them a lot of focus fire on main tanks.
Well, the thing is that you not only want to focus their health, but getting the shield down really limits how much they can do early. But second gen, they're going to very aggressively go in. Chrono dropping the Earth Shatter, getting absolutely nothing out of it. Heavy counter engage here from NRG. They find Eclipse. Self-destruct. Moving on out here from Smex. And NRG up to make it 3. This is the final real opportunity for second generation. And they're falling piece by piece. We're going to be going to round 3.
This will definitely be a round 3. There's no way second generation will be able to even potentially touch the point. Stand one dropping the shatter. It's going to be 1-1 now, tied up in rounds here for Lijiang Tower.
NRG making a very strong comeback after what was a pretty rough beginning there in Garden, where I think one thing you can take from this is that NRG pretty comfortable in the 3-3 mirror, not as comfortable with a curveball thrown at them in the form of DPS heroes that they might not have been expecting. But that still plays into their favor, right? Because
I mean, we see that a lot with teams that are actually extremely comfortable in 3-3, but maybe aren't as flexible. We even saw that, I mean, once again, at Looney Korean Contenders, we saw Gen G pull out the quad DPS strat last night, or early morning, I guess. And there was an MVP didn't know how to respond to it. And we see here with NRG, which is a team which is built much more around that 3-3, they had trouble with second generation's 2-2-2 setup.
One thing to note here, though, is that we're heading in the control center. It's all about 3-3. Second generation not going to be able to pull out a crazy trick here this time. They're going to have to win it straight up.
NRG, second generation, just trading spam here on the point. Boops coming out, but no real aggression just yet.
Pugs in a row. Solo, he actually is able to get away, though. Meanwhile, Stand One moves in. Byron and Pooks just absolutely decimate second generation as they're chasing that early pickoff onto the Brigida.
And that was a great rotation from NRG, from Pugs in particular, was trying to stay alive. Second gen were looking for the chase, not able to find him, and with all that committal, putting those cooldowns, NRG was able to just counter attack.
It's the definition of overextension. You think you have a kill, you go a little bit deep, and then you don't get it. You still go deep to finish it off. You dig your hole even deeper, and then by the time you realize what's happened, you're gone.
And most importantly for NRG, they've won the first fight, getting that time make, and they have that ult advantage.
Pressure coming in here. Eclipse already down. Earth Shatter coming in from Sam 1. Mostly blocked off, but guess what? They didn't need it.
They really did not need that Earth Shatter at all. He was looking to just get it set up because there was a lot of shield presence and good boops on the front line for second gen, but I don't think there was any reason for him to necessarily drop that, especially with Eclipse going down so early.
Second generation in a very tough spot right now. Not particularly wealthy on ultimates, and certainly not wealthy in positioning where NRG has an edge.
NRG still holding close, not giving second gen any room to move in here. There's the rally. Charge out for Stand One, still just denying it as second gen back up from the rally. They want the effects to go away.
ChronoDodo moving back forward. Stand one, pretty far out, but here's the grab. It was a sneaky grab from the side, and the fall through certainly there. Stand one just charges his way on in.
Eclipse not even having trance yet, so that bomb maybe not even necessary. But I mean, they didn't know that.
No.
Eclipse should have had trance by this point in the fight. So good use of ults for NRG. Also, Stand one blocking the shadow from ChronoDodo, trying to stop the follow-up.
And second generation, they've just been stymied here. What do they need to do to break in?
I mean, right now, they keep on pushing main. They don't have a clear ult advantage until just now with the support ults, or they could have swapped through flank. Now they need to be using Beyond more aggressive. They catch Stand one, that should be it.
Yeah, they open with the rally.
A solo grab on him.
Oh, they would really like to get that one back where even with the early pickoff, they're getting over towards a point. And NRG, I think they're going to try and delay this a little bit longer.
They need to back out,
up.
though. They don't have any win conditions unless their support ults are going to be used.
They can re-engage back now, though. Stand one, back in the fight. Oh, not anymore. Kevster. You just need to hold back a little bit. There's no reason to be that aggressive. You have such a big edge. Why?
Now, second generation just going to be chasing NRG back to spawn. And NRG now, they have to be worried about what happened to second gen on that hold. When you push through this first choke, this main choke leading into the point, you have to be ahead in those ults. You have to have a clear advantage. Otherwise, it might be stronger to rotate to a flank, spread out the defending team a little bit more.
Well, the upside for NRG is that they don't have to worry about a grab right now. It's actually pretty free to move forward. So long as Bipop doesn't land the self-destruct of his lifetime, it's going to be pretty easy. Now, they go for shield pressure. Graviton can be invested. Stand one, just pin sucked wall.
Bipop hits the best shatter, or not the shatter, the Diva Bomb.
It's a pretty good Diva Bomb, and it's actually going to be enough to bring it back. That was the one thing that needed to not happen to NRG.
ChronoDodo picking up 3.
It did.
Really, really good bomb for Bipop. That's one of the powers of those defensive Diva Bombs. One player in particular that we saw earlier this week with Gods did that a lot.
And that's what you need from your Diva. Not just good execution on combos, but the ability to go, hey, I need to make a play here. How do I do it? And Bipop found the way. Second generation, now certainly in a better spot. Not exactly favored, but much better than they were before.
The only problem here is that second generation really don't have any support ults. Eclipse not very close. Byram having that Transcendence up. It's going to be really based off stocks and what value they can get from this rally grab.
Well, the Graviton's going to be used, but it's going to be basically trading out for Transcendence. Self-destruct, though, up in the sky. Bipop's also in progress. Smex was able to get shadows early on. Bipop getting a whole lot of nothing. And now, NRG definitely working with an edge here. Transcendence invested here by second generation. Desperately trying to isolate someone. Instead, it's going to be Bipop getting D-back to the other side. NRG looking to put this one away now. Another grab coming on in. ChronoDodo out of the fight. And NRG, they're going to be retaking the point here, and second generation going to have a real problem trying to delay and look for the miracle comeback.
Now, second generation trying to stagger in to the point, trying to take this fight as long as possible, but NRG just cleaning up one after another. They have so much in their favor right now.
It's looking very, very good for them, and NRG again. This is the final cleanup area where in the 3-3 meta, you don't see teams make the comeback there very often, and this also not going to be one of those cases.
They did not this time. NRG having a much clearer advantage there in those ult fights, and also they were outbuilding second generation in the support ults very quickly. Byram, Pooks being ahead, especially Byram, a lot of the time.
Yeah, and NRG just looking very composed. Once they were able to go 3-3 versus 3-3, I think that's the important takeaway of the match.
3-3 versus 3-3 seems to be their comfort picks.
Yeah. Like, if you're game planning right now against NRG and you have flexibility, you're looking at that first control round, you go, they don't really do so well against Afara, do they? Seems to give them a little bit of a problem, doesn't it? So that's sort of a game plan thing here where you have to think, maybe this isn't a team that deals with off-meta compositions all that well, but they certainly do play a fearsome 3-3.
They do. I mean, and they had that experience from that previous Contenders season as well. They have the pretty much a pre-existing synergy. It could be all those advantages over second generation. Now it's going to be 1-0 for NRG, taking Lijiang, moving into our next map. Second generation looking to even it up here. You know, they want to start out the season strong, start out their Contender season. Their debut as a roster strong.
Well, I also think here is that the interesting thing about Contenders here is that because the divisions have been expanded, I feel like there's a lot more pressure on the established teams to sort of hold serve over the newer teams, right? Where because it's expanded, in theory, there's perhaps less fierce competition because it's not as concentrated, and the bigger teams should have a easier path. You don't want to sort of go into that expectation and suddenly go, oh, we've just now lost to a Trials team, which, by the way, fantastic for the Trials team, but really rough for an Academy team that does have pretty significant edge edges in regards to recruiting.
Especially after this season, relegation does come into effect for academy teams.
Yeah.
It did not play into effect for this expansion, but after this, if you do not do well this season, regardless of last season, then you can be relegated. You can be sent back to open as an academy team.
No more freebies.
No more freebies. So you really want to put your money where your mouth is. You want to have a good performance, making sure you're not getting relegated.
Well, yeah, because you think about just the economics of that, right? Where you don't want to be in the situation where a team goes, we lost our academy spot. I guess we have to buy an academy spot from someone that got in, or just change teams wholesale. It's a lot of disruption. You don't want to go down that path.
You really do not.
And the way you don't go down that path, don't get relegated. Win your games.
Win.
Yeah.
Just win. Forehead. Just win forehead.
Did we just say that in stereo?
We did.
Wow.
We did indeed.
This has been a long day of casting.
It has. It's been one long, continuous day of casting, actually. It feels very odd. It's like a weird time limbo thing for me where it's just like I've just been only casting now for like 48 hours.
Well, and driving through traffic.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that.
Yeah.
Been a lot of driving through traffic as well.
Yeah, but that is a day right now. That is definitely a day, and right now, of course, we're just waiting to get into our second map of the day, which will be hybrid, and we'll see what NRG has in store. But one thing that's worth noting here is that, certainly
it's going to be Kings Row, isn't it?
I think it's Kings Row.
Yeah, it is Kings Row is set, so it will be Kings Row as our second map.
That's advantageous to NRG. That's not an Eichenwald or a Nambani where off comps are a little bit more powerful. Kings Row kind of favors 3-3.
It does. I mean, Kings Row has always been the map, which is really heavily favored Reinhardt-Zarya compositions, and 3-3 is the definition of a Reinhardt-Zarya composition. You have that as your one of your main focuses for your drivers, for your team.
So it means that the ability for second generation to come in here, and by the way, like second generation, just wait till we get second generation for second win. That is going to be very confusing down the line.
Could have some interesting wordplay there.
Yeah, that's just going to be a casting disaster. I'm warning you guys right now, but we don't have to worry about that, at least in the interim. Instead, we get to focus on NRG versus second gen. And it's going to be second generation taking to the attack first, and whoa. We can't put too much faith in it. It is an early attack setup, but it still would not surprise me if second generation went off the beaten path, especially given the lessons learned just a map ago.
No, it wouldn't be unsurprising, but I find it unlikely. I don't think Genji is the play on Kings Row ever. For the most part, it hasn't been the play for a very long time. So I find it very unlikely that's the composition they're using.
Man, I'm trying to think back to where, I mean, old Shadowburn teams back in the day, but that was more so because Shadowburn at one point had a Genji. We're just like, just throw a Genji at him and it'll work. But you have to really go far back, and usually it's Pharah. But speaking of Pharah, we got Pharah in play here from second generation. They are going for it once more.
Second generation making some swaps for the roster as well. It's going to be Neat in for Sox and Boger in for ChronoData.
Neat just got chunked by Byram early on, where again, as a Pharah, you have to give a little bit of respect to Zen. It's not like your biggest enemy or anything, but Byram.
And look where NRG are holding, by the way. They're holding tight in this left room, in this hotel room. They're going to be looking for the rotations, trying to catch. Their only reasonable catch here is going to be maybe Eclipse, maybe Boger.
Shadow's not getting the greatest sight lines here. That much is for certain. Still getting a few good shots, but Eclipse gets picked off. Smex just dives on him, finishes him off.
That's what I was talking about. NRG just looking for one single target to catch. You just have to catch one, because with Eclipse gone, that's a lot of damage off the field for second gen, and it's really tough for them to pressure point. But they do get the D-back onto Smex.
The interesting is that Smex could get back in. He's so well protected.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
He goes back to the other side. I'm going to hide from the Pharah. Gets sniped by the Widow. Sometimes just be like that. Second gen moving forward.
Shadow's getting Kevster.
Yeah.
Shadow's doing a lot right now for second generation, ensuring those frags with the Diva, with the Zarya gone. That's all of NRG's, pretty much their fragging power off the map.
Well, the Pharah Widow is really effective because you're more worried about the Pharah immediately. It's a threat right above you.
It's Eclipse again.
And you're not looking at the Widow.
But it's just Eclipse going down again. NRG holding very close.
Eclipse going to be brought back up. But again, moral of the story here, when you go against NRG with something that's not 3-3. Oh! That was a good shot.
That was a very good shot. High energy right clicks coming the way of Shadows, but Shadows just staying up on the high ground. Standalone gets the charge on a Boger. That's going to be the end as Shadows gets Pooks.
Okay, please deal with the Widow. Shadows has so much room to work with. He is ripping NRG apart. And the finish, I was going to say, moral of the story for NRG, when you don't run them out with a 3-3, they look a lot weaker.
They don't. They definitely do not look as strong. Smex now making the swap on to Sombra because they want that Sombra to help counter Boger. Just get the hacks off, get those EMPs on for that very mobile comp, but no one is on point. Second generation, you will have to be touching point. That is a key part of playing Overwatch, is the objective. They also set up the EMP barrage last fight, so they will not have it now.
Riptire is on the field. Where is it? Riptire rolling over Eclipse. It's pretty highly aggressive. It gets absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
There's a space creation ult. There's going to be Valkyrie up for second gen, but not really a fight-winning ult here. Boger very close to those mines. NRG moving in, trying to contest the point.
Valkyrie used really early here.
Bipop wins the Sombra war, though.
Not too bad. Neat over the top right now. Valkyrie still in play. Boger gonna fall, and it's a little bit back and forth. NRG, though, is kind of grinding second gen down, and that Valkyrie did seem a little early.
Yeah, it is a little bit early, but I mean, it's really tough as this composition that second gen are running, it's very much reliant on Shadows and Neat right now getting picks or getting that barrage up early, because Eclipse, he's not building Junkrat, he's not building tires very fast, and Bipop isn't building EMPs that fast either.
They're going to wholesale swap right now. This is a full moving over to at least a 3-2-1.
I think Bipop might be staying.
Yeah, no,
for the 70% on the
he'll
EMP.
Stay for the EMP. That much is certain. And NRG also on a 3-2-1 setup, so they'll stay for that. But man, second generation is in a hole right now.
I mean, NRG has 5 ults, including that EMP. EMP used so early here in the fight. That's going to be Neat picked up. Then Boger. That should be the end for second gen.
NRG just aggressive engage, catches him in. Kevster melts him down, and NRG, they've solidified this. They've dealt with the chaos of the multi-DPS setup, and now they're grinding down second generation in a playstyle that they're very, very comfortable with.
And second gen, they still don't have very many ults at all. Only the EMP. The problem is triple support ult up for NRG. So you have to somehow mitigate all 3 if you want this EMP to be a fight winner. More likely than not, second gen to just look to get ults out of NRG.
Meanwhile, take a look at Kevster. Kevster was in the sneaky Zarya position, still is. Hiding right over here. And, this is a two-part thing. Team's going to tell him people are coming in. Gonna peek the corner, drop the grab. That's what he's waiting for here. And that was a really early
That right
EP.
click was insane, by the way. He hit Bipop while he was invisible. You saw that damage marker, that hit marker go out.
That was a really good decloak there. And Kevster off the grab. NRG just dives in, and that was a panic EMP.
That was a panic EMP because it was the right click from Kevster. He was spy checking, as they say. He was looking for the Sombra, drops the right click, hits Bipop as he's looking for the EMP. A little bit panicky, and now NRG, they have an EMP of their own. They still have a beat. This is looking very strong for them. Second gen have to look for this engage off. They don't have combo, by the way, because Bipop swapped to that Diva, so they just need to survive this EMP.
And this isn't a fight second generation should win. NRG has had such huge advantage. Smex would have to get picked off for free. EMP gonna move in, hits 4, Boger, nowhere to go. And this is gonna build so much ult charge for NRG as they roll in against a defenseless second gen roster.
And now this is the time for second gen to push. This is the time. Oh, Smex failing to translocate there a little bit, but it's okay. Here comes NRG holding extremely close, which I really like. They control the hack pack as well.
We've gone full Defran. Let's go, dudes, has been ringing out in chat. Old school Selfless being channeled. Graviton, though, being used by second gen, the breakout, and that's not part of the story there. Not part of the story at all.
No, but the thing is, when you hold close, even if you lose, that was an ult. That was a grab used for second gen just to get out of spawn, and all this time being bought off the clock. Pook's gonna get out. Now second generation, they still have Trance, they still have Shadow, they're coming up on the beat. Really for them, they need to be looking to get value out of these support ults early or potentially just weather the storm of Kevster.
I mean, the good thing here for NRG, it's to your point, is that second gen, they have to invest a lot to get out, and NRG still has a reasonable amount remaining, so a very winnable fight coming up.
I mean, they can bunny up ults really easily here. Kevster can force a lot. They can even use the support ult early to force some of the support ults for second gen and just set up a better fight for themselves.
Stand one moving forward from the middle. Shatter coming out from the offense. And Smex down. Smex out of the fight early. Stand one though. Counter Shatter back the other way. Gonna knock down a few in the back. Looking for the charge. Gonna get bopped away. Second gen completely whole. Barrier coming out. They punish Pooks. They move forward. They might be caught in the grab here, but there's not great follow through for NRG. Second gen more than powerful enough with the Transcendence to keep on in here. NRG though, fighting back. They draw Transcendence of their own. But yeah, look out. Self-destruct to the back. Felty finding Pugs. And this is still really good for second generation.
And right now, we just saw a really good ult exchange here for second generation. It's kept playing slow. And this is the problem with the Sombras. The Sombra's not there. You don't have EMP. Eventually, you will lose the fight because your front line is just weaker.
So Smex has EMP, which means he's probably not going to swap off now. But as we go deeper in the last, is this towards the end of the Sombra lifetime? Does Smex go to Diva after using this EMP?
I find it unlikely that Smex would stay on Sombra after this EMP. simply because that's their one. They just want to use it in this next fight only, or maybe even play slow and just try to build some other ults while keeping that EMP in reserve to counter second gen's upcoming support ults. But he's going to probably swap afterwards.
So we'll see what Smex does here. Man of the hour. The EMP, of course, the most important ult going in. Gonna drop the EMP, hits 3 only, and it's not really, it's okay. It's enough for NRG here.
I mean, you just needed 2. There were no support ults up for second gen, so he didn't have to have a gigantic EMP. Personally, I don't think it was necessarily the best,
and
but,
there we go.
But that's all you needed. And yeah, Smex
immediately to D.Va. I think his goal is that, let me just get some quick value, team fight win, great, back to D.Va.
However, the only problem there is that because they took that fight so fast, like I talked about, they didn't get any support ults out for second generation. They're going to have both the rally and the trance, so they can look to try and maybe get some value here early from NRG.
And the problem for NRG also, they have Grav, but obviously nowhere close to bomb. Smack's just swapping. Second generation. Gonna be a little more aggro, but Ogre super low on shield HP. Shield gonna be broken. Felty down, but so is Stand 1. Transcends for second gen. Keeping the fight, and there's the shatter, where you don't have to worry about shield on the other side. They move in, but the Transcendence keeping NRG plenty alive here. Neat now in trouble for second gen. Brigitte needing to back out just a bit. Ogre shield still in a really rough spot. They stay on the point here for now. Smex gonna drop the bomb all the way out top, moving out to the backhand side. Not gonna get the kill he wants as Kevster still doing work for NRG. Gets 2. Late grab coming from second gen, but look at what they have here. They're so down on
Felty
people.
gets a frag and gets the beat, though. They can stay on point.
They're still at point, and Shadow's getting charged up. Shadows leading the charge back the other way. Graviton invested by NRG, but the fall through certainly not there. Transcendence now built up by second gen.
My goodness.
The charge is continuing forward here, and second gen led by Shadows, keeping it moving forward.
I cannot believe Felty was able to get beat, keep his team alive, get the frag as well. Then Eclipse is back with the trance. Shadows so high energy. Second gen are still in this.
Unbelievable. NRG, just when you think they have it stopped, they will get to move out here. Transcends in reserve. Byram gonna race car out of spawn. Needs to get the stand 1 quickly. Gets spooked away. Still gets the stand 1 just in the nick of time. Smex is gonna get a little bit of the Transcends towards the end. A little.
The boop on Shadows!
Oh, he's out of the fight. Poops! Using the pit to his advantage, but Smex gonna fall. Earth Shatter coming in from Boger. Doesn't get what he's looking for right now. NRG still in a little bit of trouble, but fighting this back. Getting second generation off the point. 0.82 meters. And that's all she wrote. Barrier gonna seal the deal. NRG fighting it back at the end.
Lucio's coming up very big for both teams. Felty ensuring that second generation could push it to almost last, and Pooks getting that boop on Shadows, denying the high energy Zarya so close to the grab before either support ult was up for NRG. So very, very important.
Whew, that is definition of back and forth fight. Not the classic King's Row. We want to fight, we spawn camp you, we win the next fight type of ending. That's a little bit of spice to it.
We can't use spice. The term's used too much.
Yeah,
no spice. We got to use picante. That's what we talked about with Golden Boy.
It's true.
Picante.
You know, the funny thing is, as soon as I said
hotness,
as soon as I said spice there, I realized I shouldn't have used this word.
Yeah.
Like I actually internally, I was just making those like, don't use this word anymore. But you've brought it up into the public eye, so internal of how my mind works, I'm just like, yeah, you know, I wasn't feeling that word to describe that. But either way. Was very interesting.
Interesting, yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah. Well, interesting is also a caster fallback, where I actually mean interesting here and not the...
You could do a variety of synonyms. You could do erudite. You could do, there's some more, but I forget, really. Complex, I don't know.
Wow. I just thought you were about to rattle down a list.
Yeah,
and just
I
show
forgot
us
the rest of my synonyms.
Your literary...
My SAT words.
Yeah, wow. No, yeah, it's fine. I'll just shelve my disappointment for now. When I look at second gen, speaking of second gen running unconventional things here, throwing not 3-3 looks at NRG, that's an Orisa, and that is absolutely a Bastion, and it's too late to change.
This is a comp we saw actually Atlanta run variations of last season, where you run what is essentially a solo heal with the Ana, you have the Brigitte to try to deny the dive, give you a little bit more sustain, and you have the bunker comp, the Orisa Bastion.
Clips with the Bionade from downtown, a little bit of a greeting there to NRG as it were, and NRG can be going with the Winston 3-3. A little bit of extra dive power. See if that actually works out versus the Bastion here.
Interesting choice because it's going to be Smex and Stand 1 here that are going to be doing most of the contest on this high ground. It's only them that are able to move forward. Bubble out early. Bubble burn now NRG on point.
Man, it's going to charge up Kevster a bit, but I think second generation totally okay with that. Cracking the Bastion, actually a bit of a trouble in the setup. You use Orisa as the anchor tank. You rotate around, and it's a pain to go in on, especially with the Winston and Stand 1 moving in. Will he get melted down immediately? Gets a lot of value, still alive. Smex diving in, NRG committing super hard here. They get the Bastion down. The dive is successful.
Absolutely gigantic ante from Eclipse, but it doesn't matter. The rest of second generation, they've been cleaned up. And that was a good sandwich there. You see, I was wondering how NRG was going to make this work instead of running the Reinhardt if they're going up top, but they sent stand one from lower, jumped on top of all the second generation bunker, dropped the bubble right as the rest of his team moved in. So really good engage for NRG.
NRG in a very good spot right now. 5 minutes left, an early point A attack. And second generation, what do they need to do where they're so drained right now? Is this next fight even really winnable?
Well, second gen, since considering they have almost no ults, everything's always winnable, but I'm going to put their probability very low.
Well, NRG, they feel the same. They're just going to immediately dive in. Stand1 doesn't waste time, doesn't wait to get low, just immediately Primal Rages here. Primal's for the disruption.
Only trying to move people forward. Only trying to get second generation forward into his team.
It's enough, because Boger could not get away. He was bopped and booped all the way around. The effect of that Primal, very good there.
Bopped and booped to be distinguished from bipped and bopped.
Yeah.
Very important there.
Very important.
But there's going to be stand1
different,
going back to spawn, making the swap to Reinhardt after the Primal. NRG now still firmly in the driver's seat, but because of that fight, second gen, they're going to have both their support ults very soon. They have D.Va Bomb. D.Va Bomb is really their best bet because of the combo for NRG if they are going to look to disrupt for this second contest.
Second generation, regrouping here in the point. NRG, oh, you got to look at Kevster up on his perch. It's not super sneaky. He does have to be aware of the D.Va here. D.Va, defensive matrix in his face. Defensive matrix about to go down. Here's the time to drop the grab. Gonna throw the grab in. Stand1 already down. Self-destruct up from Specs is gonna be enough to save it. Moving to the back, takes down Neat. And now it's still in contest. NRG, they think they can win. They invest the barrier. Kevster, decent energy moving around the side. Trying to build another grab while winning the fight at the same time. And it's okay for NRG. This fight now looking pretty good for them. But Smex
Felty is the key right now.
They went a little bit too deep. They may have had to stand the payload. Second generation able to fight it back because Smex gets picked off diving that deep.
Second generation's backline so crucial there. Felty helping Smex from that late charge from Boger, I should say, and then getting the beat off, allowing them to stay in the fight despite Kevster being so high energy. Shadows is back, 97% on his grab. And this would be a solo grab fight for second generation. They should know NRG does not have support ults.
Second gen, this is, to your point, this is where they should be a little bit more aggressive, where Shadows wait for the defensive matrix, wait for a gun cooldown, and then drop the grab. Look for it here. You're going to have to wait one more time for the matrix to come on out, and then drop it. Graviton is going to be used. 3 in. And second generation, they dive in, they deal with Kevster immediately, and Boger just swings the hammer, picks up 3.
Great grab from second gen. Shadows recognizing only to use grab. Make sure not to get it in as well, just using that D.Va nerf for the Matrix to time how to grab and the stagger out onto Smex.
Second generation, they have to hold for a long time. Don't forget that NRG had over 5 minutes per second, so they've lost about half of that here so far. This has been a very good swing in momentum for second generation.
Second generation holding firmly. They have 2 support ults, they have the Shatter. NRG not working with a lot. They don't even have their combo, though they do have grab. Second gen should be looking to set up. That's a great Shatter early from Boger.
Boop coming in, Shatter right after. Second generation looking for the cleanup, but the follow through there might have been a little bit slow. NRG able to get the Transcendence up, and now they punish second generation for diving in. Stand1 putting the exclamation point right on top of that sentence. The Earth Shatter towards the very end. And NRG going to move forward, but second generation, they might have some time to get forward, but look, NRG still on the payload. Someone went ahead.
Very unlikely that they're going to be able to contest here because they were able to get Smex so early, NRG pushing that card so early. The displacement onto Boger is so key. Despite that Shatter forcing out Trance, Pooks and Smex is putting him into the backline where they could not get any of the value from Eclipse's Trance.
So NRG, 3 minutes left to finish out King's Row, and they don't even have to go all the way. So they'd like to get up 2-0 here versus second gen. Pugs opening up with the rally. Smex one self-destruct in reserve. Self-destruct going on up here. What's it going to get here from Smex? Oh, Bip-Bop on the other side gets 3. Big self-destruct from Bip-Bop.
I mean, great charge from Boger as well. Pooks even drops the beat trying to deny some of that damage because a perfectly placed beat can actually mitigate a lot of the damage from Bomb. But Boger a really important part is ensuring that your charge does not come out too early or too late, because you want to move the shield just in time, and that is exactly what Booger did.
The good part for NRG, Smek's not used self-destruct in the last fight. Kevster holding on to grab. They can easily turn this around with a combo of their own. Graviton can be in progress. Smex was under a little bit of pressure. Self-destruct comes out a little bit late. Barrier just in the time. It still blows up Felty. Even with that, the hammer coming in from stand 1 right after, the follow-through from NRG, certainly there. And they're going to be able to use this now to go even deeper in the point C.
However, having to use the trance and the combo there means they don't have it for this next fight. Less than 2 minutes remain for NRG, and second gen, they have the rally. This will give them the sustain they need to sit on the point.
Total slugfest here between both teams. Second gen would love to even this out. And you're absolutely right. We're just going to roll in with the rally here. Rally used, but it's on both sides. Evened out. Neat. Bit of a rough position. Healed on up. Bip-bop on the high ground. Trying to build the self-destruct in the middle of the fight. Graviton, though, coming in from Kevster. Going to catch a whole lot. The fall
Great grab.
Completely there. No way of healing up in the middle of it. NRG finishing out Kings Row strong. Up now 2-0.
Really good grab there. Just ensuring there was no support ult. It was only the rally for second generation. So very, very important there to get that grab out very early, finish them off. It also allowed Stand 1 to just walk all over Boger because he wasn't in the grab and there was no healing. There was no trance up for him.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the key interactions here is that obviously in a lot of situations you see grab bombs because when you initially grab, what's one of the reactions when things get a little bit hairy? Transcendence or a barrier. So, support ultimates that sort of mitigate how much you can burst people down to grab. When you know that neither is on the table, the options are open to you, and that option is just sending your run in and being like, just swing your hammer a few times, deal with them. And it's kind of what happened there.
I mean, that is so really clinical from NRG. I think second gen actually looked much stronger on that map than they even did on Control. They looked really good. I mean, they actually looked pretty solid on 3-3, but they were still using some different variable comps comparatively to NRG. But, I mean, that is going to be our halftime.
It is.
We do have a break coming in, but we will still be here. Don't worry.